Hey guys, Mr. Horton here with virtual backup lessons for Studio Art 1, Studio Art 2, and Film Appreciation and Cinematography. Okay guys, so welcome to the next step of our project grade, which is positive negative space 2D design with color accents. So I have a couple things out now. I got my black sheet of paper with my drawing. I got my source image. I have a Sharpie and I have a white charcoal pencil from the previous project. You could do these steps with a number 2 pencil in the place of a Sharpie and a white color pencil in the place of the white charcoal pencil, okay? So I'm gonna break this into 3 steps. First thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna go through the whole thing with a Sharpie and outline the lines, okay? Second thing, I'm going to try to consciously figure out white versus black areas in the final picture. And the third thing is I'm gonna figure out my color accents and I'm gonna mark them as such. Okay, all right, so number 1 thing I gotta show you guys. All right guys, a little something about outlining. So I have written here my name twice, and I wanna just show you 2 examples of this with the Sharpie or the pencil if you're gonna use the pencil for the outlining. Now, when you outline, you could take the Sharpie and you can try to guide it to be on the inside edge of the line. That, okay? Versus outside line focused. Like that. I know that's a subtle difference, but you can see here you're losing some detail here on the O, here on the O, okay? In here on the R, in the bridge of the H, in the neck of the N here. You're losing a little bit of detail points. Remember, in the final product, we're cutting away everywhere that the Sharpie touches, okay? So just be aware of this, that you're gonna have to be aware of the space between the lines if you want to be. Okay, but like if you're heavy-handed with this Sharpie and you're coming around on this H and it looks like this, when you cut that out, that bridge is going to be entirely white. It's going to be gone. Okay, so just be aware of this. I think the correct way to do this project is to mix the both of these. Like, don't fully do this, don't fully do this. Just do whatever you need to do as you're doing it to try to get the lines you need to do. All right, so back to the picture. So to repeat what I was just talking about, everywhere that you put the Sharpie down is eventually going to be removed in the final product, okay, of the picture. So I'm going to take my Sharpie and I'm going to go through every single pencil line on this thing. But here's the thing, there's going to be a little bit of weirdness with this because I'm going to use the Sharpie a little bit kind of on and off. I'll explain as I go. So down here, it's going to be very straightforward. I'm just going to go through, I'm going to start outlining my lines. And again, guys, you could do this with a pencil. You don't have to use a Sharpie with this. But if you do with a pencil, the line has to be 3 times as thick as you normally are doing it. All right, so be right back. I'm going to speed through this. Okay, so this is kind of my first stop point here. I've now inked in this whole bottom part right now. So I'm actually going to go back in my source image, you could kind of see here, here, and here I got some shadow. So I'm going to take my Sharpie and I'm going to negate this on the final. See how this looks. So I'm going to color in this. So when we put this in the actual end thing, this will go. I'm going to color in here. I'm going to color in here just so it's kind of a little bit like the picture. I'm going to color in there. You can see already I colored in these vents because the lines were too thin. Okay, so those will be cut out. On the body over here, I got some cool shadow marks on her obliques. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to kind of color these in, and I'll remove these when we do the 2D end of this. The actual cutting out of everything. I'm just kind of loosely using the source image as an example. There's some over here. All these really cool reflection spots. The line I missed there, that's fine. I'm going to color in this whole gray area at the elbow. Okay? All right, let's speed through a little bit more of it. Okay, so here I am now. I've gone through the whole picture. I got my dark tones in, my outlines, and I know it's hard to see. And now we're going to get into something a little bit more complicated, which is negation. Remember, everything that is Sharpie black will eventually be white in the final picture, but we're not doing this as a one-to-one color thing, so it's not like you're doing this to spots that are white. But for Samus's face, I want Samus's face to be white. Okay, I want it to be the background image. So instead of doing the line, I'm actually going to do everything inside of the line. So I'm going to go through and I'm just going to color in her whole face black. Because I'm removing this, I'm going to eventually remove this. Like that. Okay, so now this is going to go. I'm going to keep the eye, I'm going to keep the eyebrow. All right, so we got our first two steps done. We got our line done. We got our shadow spots done, which is going to eventually be white. Now, my last step is the color spots. I'm only going to color accent one thing on this, which is the visor. All right, I'm going to use the white for this, and I'm not going to color over the outline. By the way, if you're using the charcoal for this, it's going to move a lot easier than the white color pencil is. Just be aware of that. So that's my first color spot, and my other color spot is right. And that's it. Those are my only two color spots in this entire thing. And guys, remember, I don't want you to overload with the color. Please try not to pick more than, I would say, 40% of the picture to be colored. Okay, it's not supposed to be an overloaded thing. It's supposed to be an accent, not a drowning effect. Okay, so you're getting your picture to this step. You're going through your whole project. You're outlining your project with a number 2 pencil and increasing the line 3 times, or a Sharpie and increasing the line just kind of normally. You're then putting in, if you have any black spots that you want to remove and be totally white on yours, like here, the obliques, these things, this, okay, here at the neck or the face, which I wanted white on the final picture. Okay, remember, we're also removing the entire background, but I'm not bothering going through and blacking that in because we're just going to, this whole thing is going to be gone later. And then lastly, you're going to take your white charcoal or your white color pencil, you're going to go through and you're going to color in the accented areas, which are eventually going to be colored in the final product. Photograph this, upload it to Classroom. This, guys, counts as a classwork grade. This is not a project grade. The next project grade is going to be the gluing down of all the black pieces onto your poster board, which we're going to get to next week. Is going to be doing a little bit. If you have any questions, email me.